Alright. Sitting here watching one of my favorite Saturday shows on Sunday. It's usually when I get to do it. I sit back and enjoy it while I'm doing everything. So I'm going to go through a box. Some Adventures Comics. Adventure Comics. I love her hair. I love this outfit. I thought that was actually cool. This is a giant, the G60. Love that costume for her. This is the So Much Fun one for Superman. It actually is the death of the Kents, and also these were distributed in toy stores, so I do look for these when I get a chance. I've only found 2 so far. Some more Superman. I love that image. Just a simple white background with all this going on. Now, up in the 60 cent ones, I was still collecting regularly certain titles. 60 cent was getting a little more expensive, and I was putting my efforts into also music by this time. Starting to look at like when my best friend and I would run down to Chuck E. Cheese, which used to be a teen hangout kind of game room at the time, and I had to save money to go to that. So I lessened my titles, and Superman's one of the ones I kept when I did it. Um, Another 100 pager. If you look, you get Aquaman and Aqualad, the Boy Commandos, Hawk and Dove, Sandman and Sandy. So, I mean, this is a whole smorgasbord of stuff. You can see it's a 100 pager. It says DC, looks like 15. And zoom. Your eyesight might be a little better than mine. Old Superboy, go-go checks across the top. Now, I'm a Whitman collector, so any chance I get, I grab them. Even if they're not in high grade, I'll grab them. Just because I try to collect all the Whitmans. And we'll come back to that one. Alright. A series that was not bad. This was the Superboy. They did switch the guy who played him after the first season. But it's actually a pretty decent series depicting more his college years and him being Superboy. At least they were sticking to the concept that he was originally Superboy and then became Superman, not actually saying it was a different world as they do later on. I enjoy this series, The New Adventures of Superboy. This is, even though it did get up into that 60 cent point, it really is a great kind of Bronze Age kind of telling. Little Gil Kane there. I always loved the Dial H for Hero. Those were always cool. Always liked that people designed the characters and stuff. Don't get me wrong, DC probably ripped them off with the designing of characters that they eventually could use if they wanted to without really paying kids for it. But I still thought it was a neat story. Um, Action Comics. Love that perspective when you look down the buildings. Has such a flow to it. Another go-go check, but an 80-page giant is G33. Again, it's all the Supergirl, Bizarro Supergirl. I'm not even sure what that one is, but it's Super Horse. the boy who could see in the dark to everything. So just really neat stories. 25 cents for 80 pages. I mean, and the Omega Men in that one. I do like the Omega Men. I didn't like the series by itself as much as I like them being in other books. Here's Superman with the rest of the Justice League as well as the new Teen Titans. This would be about the time the new Teen Titans were the group I liked. That's where Robin was still Robin. He was just like a 19-year-old. And I love the crossover with Superman with the Forgotten Heroes. You got Cave Carson, Animal Man, Dolphin. It'll come to me in a minute. The guy with the gorilla. Congo Billy. So all of those is just really cool. And then here you see the evolution of them switching into what they wanted them, the newer version they look like. I personally like the old. These remind me of the old uh, Legion of Doom Super Friends kind of thing. And I really prefer it more than I do these two. I mean, realistically, he was filthy rich back then. He could have designed a suit where he could have followed Superman. And he was always a machine, so realistically, I would have preferred these to be this way. The first appearance of Vixen. I hunted this one forever. Surprised I got it for only 20. I'm kind of DC's too slow on the draw for a lot of their stuff, so I don't ever. If she appears, I'd be surprised, but I think she would have made a good character in something, even just she don't have to be the main character, just a backup of something. She could have made an appearance in a movie or a TV show. If she has, I never even noticed it. Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen. Superman being typically Superman around this time, they always show him depicted as being kind of a putz, whether he is or not. The big mutated Jimmy Olsen basically knocking the head off of Superman. Another Jimmy Olsen. I actually like these series. They're very simplistic in their own way that makes them more enjoyable. There's Jimmy Olsen as Ultra Olsen. Another Go-Go Checks. Number G26. The Wedding of Lois and Superman. You get Lois being different people trying to romance her, even her being a thug with, Luthor. Some World's Finest. Batman's choking out Superman. Carmine Infantino's work on World's Finest. And we're back to there. Let's get some World's Finest here. This is the last World's Finest book, the end. Oh. As I go through them all. I like these, the dollar ones at World's Finest. Superman's face cover. I gotta rebag this one. This is, again, I love the dollar books during that period of time. You get so much for them. Gave Superman, Brainiac, Batman, 12 center. Superman leaving the dictatorship in another 100-pager, or 80-pager, I'm sorry. Superman basically beating up on Batman again. No wonder Batman beat him up later. Another World's Finest. Got a lot of World's Finest here coming up. I always like the breaking through the comic image, so it looks like they're running through another dollar one. This is one of the ones I had as a kid. I always loved that book. That was a great one. Another dollar one. Another dollar one here. Hawkman for Higgy Pop Comics. There's a Hawkman appearance in there. Another dollar one. Superman and Robin trying to reveal Batman's identity. I love that costume. I actually do like it better without the yellow, but not the newer version of it. I prefer it to have it with the new. But during this period of time, during the Silver Age, it was better that way to me, the way they drew it. And I brained myself. Everybody just chilling with cavemen, as you can see. I think Robin's looks the funniest. He's got the little Dutch boy haircut and stuff and everything. Her outfits are shredded. And then back to our equipment. Let's try this one. Last one will be good. We have our World's Finest against Clayface. Batman's in prison, Superman. Probably for being a putz back then in comparison. Yeah, they wouldn't be able to stop the two of them together. This image, if you look at this Batman, sort of has that feel like the old parachute ones that you used to get, if you remember them, if you're old enough. You remember they used to have a Superman, a Batman, a Robin. I used to have them. And it would be a parachute, and his arms would be up in that position like this, both arms. And he'd be parachuting in. That's what that looks like to me, like an image almost taken from it. And the kids beating up them. Robin sitting over here watching. This is the infamous slap one, where he slaps him. Those are the meme. Everybody got all hyped up about the book at one time, but then they're kids. I always thought those were funny stories what they would do, because see, it's their kids again. You can see the little bit of gray in the side, and he's over there lighting the fireworks on him. He's releasing the frogs on him. I have no idea. I mean, Batman must be just sleeping, because he kind of looks like he's like passed out there. Yes, I bring myself again with that one. And they're go-go checks, so I have a couple of those. Another go-go check. Superman fighting against Batman. Like this one, you got the Joker and this one fighting against him. And this guy from the future. Now this one, I have the regular paperback book of it, the Tempo ones. But this is the 80-page giant. But this story I have is that from the Duplicate Man. I want to say that one's in there too. I don't think it's all of them, but they do reprint them in those Tempo books. This is the first Silver Age appearance of Two-Face, even though it's not really Two-Face, because it's ended up being Batman doing it. Love that cover. That guy looks cool. Batman dies. Superman's letting you know to be good. Everybody shows up. Again, Superman being a putz. Just trying to point out Batman's done nothing wrong. There he is again. Gonna burn him as a witch, even though he's shooting laser beams from his eyes. These people know the the difference. Superman dies, and there's going to be a transplant for Superheart for Batman. Will it really happen? And then each of these get a Superman power. And then this one I love. I mean, what not to love with a Batman with a Tommy gun? I mean, is that not cool or what? And that would be it. All right, y'all have a good Sunday.